What's up, guys? Chase fan number 9 here, and today I want to talk about last Sunday's Bojangles Southern 500 at the track Too Tough to Tame, which is none other than Darlington Raceway, the lady in black. And before I get into it, I just want to say that sorry if this video is kind of late. I've been busy with school yesterday and today. I had to do some stuff regarding school, like my homework and all that. But I have time now, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, I'll try and do reviews as much sooner as possible next time, but it won't be easy, especially that school for me is now underway, or college I should say is underway. So yeah, so I'm just letting you guys know now, so I'll have to say it later. And also, before I get into it, I just want to say that I'm closing in on 65 to, or should I say 70 subscribers. And also, thanks to you guys, my Portland IndyCar Grand Prix video where I did the lap 1 called Lap 1 Mayhem, that video has crossed 200 views, 208 to be exact, and it's the highest viewed video on my channel, surpassing my Gateway reaction, Chicagoland reaction, and my first reaction earlier from this year, Talladega. So thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. But anyways, that's all I gotta say. So without further ado, let's get into it. So this race, I think, was a little bit better than than last year's race. And as you may have seen, the crowd, or should I say the grandstands, were full. Not a single empty seat was seen on the camera. So good job, Darlington. Looked like NASCAR back in its heydays. Gotta give credit. So yeah. So anyways, green flag waves after a 3.5-hour rain delay. William Byron started on pole, but unfortunately Brad Keselowski managed to get the advantage and take the lead. He only led the first 19 laps before Kurt Busch took over, and then we had the competition caution at lap 36. And I gotta tell you, Jimmy Johnson, his sixth place starting spot really showed. He managed to make his way up into third or second. I think it was third, and he managed to get there before the caution. So good job, Johnson. So yeah, so let me see. So yeah, that's what happened. Then made it to lap. Then we went green flag racing again. We went 20 laps before we had a caution on the backstretch involving Garrett Smithley and David Reagan, both with awesome looking paint schemes. From what I saw, Reagan got into Smithley and he went speeding down the backstretch. I don't think he didn't get a lot of damage. Oh no, wait, he did get a lot of damage. I remember. He got then, and unfortunately he had to finish the race multiple laps down, so that was unfortunate for him. But I gotta give credit to his team for fixing it though, and there's nothing wrong with it, the Rick Ware. It's just that people are just doubting them too much, but whatever. I'm not gonna dive too deep into that either, but yeah. And as you guys may know, there were 5 drivers that started at the rear. 2 of those were Almirola and Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch, as you may have seen qualifying, his engine didn't sound great, and I'll give his team credit for trying to fix that. Get the engine, install a new engine, and have him drive from the back to the front. So that's a huge accomplishment. I'll bet other drivers can do that. And yeah, so we went 29 laps and we made to the end of stage 1. Kurt Busch, I tell you, man, ever since the beginning of this year, Chevrolet, they've been racking up more stage wins now. Chase Elliott, Kurt Busch, Larson, Johnson, Byron, just to name a few. So I gotta give credit, especially Ty Dillon too. It was pretty cool seeing him win those things. But anyways, yeah. So then we went back racing to begin stage 2, and I had a good feeling Newman was gonna get karma from Bristol. Well, that's what happened. He and Daniel Suarez made contact. Suarez apparently made contact, or Newman got loose or something, and Newman went spinning. And it happened during the NASCAR side by side thing, and I saw it and I was like, "Whoa, Newman! The ogre goes spinning." But yeah, well, at least I got my respect now, a little bit of respect back from him because he's learned his humility from Bristol. But anyways, yeah, and you have to remember, folks, Suarez and Newman, they're like right there on the bubble, playoff, the cutoff line for the playoffs. Remember, Suarez is above the playoff line and Newman's below, so that's going to place in fact. Will this incident carry on over to this Sunday at Indianapolis? We'll have to wait and see because things can happen. So yeah, and then made to 13 laps after the restart from that caution. Corey LaJoie had a tire go down coming off turn 4, and by the time he made the turn 1, his car was about fixing the spin out. Well, guess what? He did, and it caused some tire issues. Unless it was mechanical, because Corey went to the garage in that nice looking Dale Jarrett throwback, which I thought, I gotta admit, was a pretty cool throwback. And yeah, unfortunately ended his chances a good run. He finished 37 laps down, so yeah, so that was unfortunate for him. I have no issue with Corey LaJoie, but I see that some people don't like him, and that's pretty understandable, but some of it's just cringy. But anyways, I'm not going to dive too deep into that either, but yeah. And also, by looking at this thing, the thing, what happened to William Byron was some bad pit stops. There was one pit stop where they were trying to remove a tire, and unfortunately they couldn't, get the tire off, and it cost them a tons of spots. So that was bad that cost them a good shot at a good run. There was also a point where we saw the Ganassi guys and 2 of the Hendrick guys running up there. So that was pretty cool, especially Chase Elliott, who led 9 laps and got 23 points in the race. So good job, Chase, keep it up. So yeah, just looking at the result. Also, another thing, Kevin Harvick and Chris Buescher are the highest starting drivers with non-throwback paint schemes. They were running up as high. Well, Harvick was up to high as like 4th or 3rd or whatever, and Chris Buescher only up in the 10th. So that was pretty good to see. Oh yeah. Then we had a 36-lap green flag ride. And then we had a wreck between Matt Tifft and BJ McLeod. I think they both went around, and BJ McLeod unfortunately got a DNF from that, which was unfortunate, especially with McLeod, who was driving the Stroker Ace throwback, which I gotta admit was a pretty cool paint scheme. So yeah, that was the end of their day. So, and there were lots of comers and goers too. Byron was one. Truex. Blaney, he didn't do much. I have to give credit though to Paul Menard for working his way into the top 10, because since when does Paul Menard get top 10? Never. Rarely does that. De Benedetto we'll talk about later. Clint Boyer we'll definitely talk about later. So yeah, it was pretty. This was a highly anticipating race. I hope next year's Darlington race is more just as entertaining as it was this year. And yeah, so yeah, and also I have to give credit to all the lap guys for moving out of the way when the leaders are coming, regardless of who you were. Good job. At least Newman learned his lesson by moving out of the way. But yeah, and also it was nice to see Joe Nemechek back in the car, because it's been 4 years, and it was nice to see that. I know he could have run a throwback, but I didn't really care, honestly. But if he did, I'd be okay with it. But anyways, yeah. And now we went 69 laps, and some of the drivers, before we get into this, some of the drivers were pretty much spread out. Johnson, Kurt Busch, Larson, Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Eric Jones were right up there just minding their own business. Another driver that was up there in the top 10 was Alex Bowman. He was having a fairly quiet day, but yeah, he was running up there. But unfortunately, he faded and he finished in 18th. So yeah, I know Hendrick wasn't the best that night, but they tried. But now we get to the wreck that I bet you guys want to hear about, and that is the final caution. Okay, so let's explain what happened. Daniel Hemrick was going through 3 and 4. Unfortunately, had a tire go down him. I have to give him credit for trying the best he can to avoid it. But unfortunately, Michael McDowell had nowhere to go, and he and Kurt Busch just plowed into him, and it came down. And unfortunately, McDowell tagged Johnson, who had nowhere to go. See, guys, Johnson's not getting to the stuff on purpose. He's just wrong place, wrong time. And also, Byron unfortunately tore up his nice throwback. I know that could have been avoided, but hey, Darlington isn't easy, especially how bad it is on the tires and how narrow the track is. I wish they would add more banking to the track, but it is what it is. Yeah, so if you're a Jimmy Johnson fan again, I'm sorry it happened, but hey, this ain't gonna do shit now, especially with one race left. Can Johnson do it in Indianapolis? We'll have to wait and see. It's not gonna be easy. Yeah, Hemrick and McDowell had their days come to an end. Denny Hamlin got karma for stealing a win from De Benedetto. I'm happy that he was involved. And Kurt Busch, unfortunately, his day was pretty much done. Well, wasn't done as in DNF. His chances of winning were over. And for Johnson, it hurt the aero thing. At least the damage wasn't severe, okay, people? So Johnson fans, don't get me wrong on that. So yes. So after that, that was pretty much it. And at least Jimmy Johnson led some 3 laps during that last green flag pit stop. So that was pretty cool. At least he gained a few points. Also, the Busch brothers won the stages, so that was pretty cool to see. Boyer, Johnson, Byron, Harvick, Kurt Busch, Hamlin, they got some good stage points. So yeah, it was worth. Well, that competition caution dictated where Kyle Busch ended up in the race. He ended up being towards the front, so yeah. And another driver who was up there was Larson. I have to give him credit for he and Eric Jones battling for the lead, and they battled for a good while though. Keep in mind, Eric Jones hadn't led a lap until lap 283. So, and in half a lap, Suarez and Jones swapped the lead a whopping 3 times. I've seen before, but seeing at a track like Darlington, I tell you, wow, that's just interesting. Yeah, and Eric Jones, he was pretty much on his own for a while. Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch were pretty much behind him, and from what I saw, it was kind of hard to pass, especially with the aero package. Yeah, so that played a huge role into how everything turned out. So, yeah, and then we had green flag pit stops inside of 50 laps to go. So Eric Jones made a stop, and I think his team made the right call. And then several drivers obviously stayed out, like Boyer, who had a good run, especially at a track where he's never had a top 5. Kurt Busch, and like I said earlier, the aforementioned Jimmy Johnson. And after that, it was pretty much Eric Jones and Kyle Busch out front for the rest of the race, and the rest is history. And Larson, I have to give Larson credit for trying, but like I said, the dirty air is what causes these cars to not pass. So yeah, I didn't mind those two battling, but the thing is, I respect the Kyle Busch fan base, but I do not like Kyle Busch, and I did not want him to win the race, because he's already won enough. He should be more serious about the playoffs, first of all. And another thing is that it's not easy knowing that you have the best the best in the business, breathing down your neck every single lap. And I gotta give credit for Jones leading the last 41 laps. And it was the battle between he and Busch lasted up until 3 laps ago, and Kyle Busch brushed the wall hard. And he said in his post-race interview that that the right front tire wasn't going to make it all the way, but unfortunately that's just how racing is. But yeah, and to be honest with you, I really wanted them to throw a caution, but I wouldn't be too sure about it because there was Kevin Harvick and Brad Keselowski. So yeah. And also Denny Hamlin, looking here, he finished the race, but he finished 11 laps down. So if you're a Hamlin fan, sorry, but hey, at least Hamlin got karma from Bristol as well. But anyways, with 2 laps to go, Kyle Busch hit the wall harder, and he just pretty much rode around the track. I was anticipating caution, but they chose to keep it green, and Erik Jones, that's all he needed to hold off the field. And with that, Erik Jones wins the Bojangles Southern 500. I never thought I'd see him win this race, but he did, and he made it happen. So good job, Erik Jones. You know, the thing is that Erik Jones, he doesn't suck. He's just been so close and has been, but every time he's so close, he always ends up getting outrun by either his teammate or someone else. So yeah, I'm like, at least Erik Jones is talented. You can't deny that. And, you know, I had a good feeling we were going to get a 10th different winner before the playoffs began. Well, Erik Jones, you've joined the playoff picture. And with that, he's officially clinched a playoff spot along with Larson, Byron, Almirola, and who else? Larson, Blaney, Byron, Almirola clinched a spot. So, yeah. Kyle Busch, man, by the time we got to the white flag, he was riding the wall around all the way to the line, but he should at least be happy he finished 3rd. At least he didn't whine about it in his interview. But it was kind of savage, though, of what he said. He made reference to that Auto Club finish where he blew a tire on the last lap and rode the whole last lap and ultimately lost to Dillon. So, yeah, I was glad Dillon won that day. I didn't want to see Busch win that race, but whatever. But, yeah, so anyways, let's take a look at the results, shall we? Erik Jones wins the race. Kyle Larson, hey, at least he didn't choke it away like he did last year. I know he could have won. I know he led 44 laps, but he tried. Yeah, Larson led for a good while in this race. Yeah, Larson led like sometime after lap 100. No, like at stage 1, and he was pretty much in the lead there up until Suarez and the Suarez-Newman incident. So yeah, anyways, Larson 2nd, Kyle Busch 3rd, Harvick 4th, Keselowski 5th, Boyer with a good points day 6th, Kurt Busch 7th. At least Kurt Busch was the highest finishing car from that last caution to finish high, so good for him. And DiBenedetto, you think after almost winning a race 2 weeks ago, you come to Darlington and you show me again that you're capable of a good ride next year? I'm like, wow, I see you, DiBenedetto. You're going to get somewhere someday. He finished 8th, by the way, so good for him. Paul Menard in that kick-ass Wood Brothers car finished 9th. And my man, Austin Dillon, I'm like, where were you at, buddy? I'm like, Dillon was nowhere to be seen until the last couple laps. And he ended up finishing 10th, so good job, Dillon. Logano, he finished 14th. He wasn't pretty much of a factor, but I do like his throwback, though. You're wrong. And if you're a Johnson fan, sorry he finished 16th, a lap down, but it's just unfortunate. It's just part of being unfortunate. Unfortunately, Byron faded. Chase Elliott faded. He finished 19th. Bowman 18th. Byron 21st. So bad runs for them. I'm like, Hendrick, after what happened to Johnson, it was pretty much over for Hendrick. But for Chase, I'm not, as a Chase Elliott fan, I'm not pretty worried, especially we have 2 wins. I just hope at least he can get some points this Sunday and we can capitalize on it. But yeah, it's pretty unfortunate, but there's nothing wrong. But anyways, Newman finished 23rd. If he had gotten a DNF, it changed the whole picture. Hamlin 29th, Ricky Stenhouse 33rd, and BJ McLeod. So yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this review. If I had to give this race a rating, I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. So yeah, that's pretty much all. There was some stuff in the race that could have made it better, like the passing and all that, but yeah, that could have improved it more, and the tire wear and all that. But yeah, looking back on this past weekend, I think it was pretty good. And it also, and you want to know how it got good? It was because of the Formula One race earlier when Charles Leclerc finally won an F1 race. That race was good, especially after the tragedy that happened up there. You already saw my video on that, so yeah, that was a huge win for he and Ferrari. He's been so close so many times this year, so good for him. IndyCar Portland was good, and Portland was very interesting. I know the winner wasn't what I expected, but it is what it is. At least Will Power gets a race win that was not rain shortened, so good for him. But I think Portland was entertaining, but I think Rosenquist should have won this race. I tell you, these guys need to give these rookies a break, man. But yeah. And that was pretty much. Now, before I end the video off, I just want to look back and think, what was my favorite throwback? You know, Chase is my favorite driver, but I gotta try something new. You know, to be honest with you, I do kind of like Eric Jones's throwback scheme, which is a throwback to his time in late models, but it'd be cool if he ran something different. But I'm not saying I hate the scheme. It's a good paint scheme, but I wish he tried something different. You know, to be honest with you, I think my personal favorite paint scheme of this whole bunch had to be William Byron's Days of Thunder throwback. I just like how he throws it back, especially when it's a painting that comes from a movie. So you have to love it, and you can't deny that. But there were some others that I like Bubba Wallace, Byron, of course, Elliott, Johnson, Logano, Jones, Larson, Bush, the Stewart-Haas cars of Boyer, Suarez, and Almirola, Brito, Paul Menard. Well, the list just goes on and on. Yeah, and McLeod, of course, and I guess Corey LaJoie. So yeah. Well, anyways, yeah. So William Byron, I think, was my personal favorite. So that is my top two favorite non-throwback paint schemes are that of Harvick and Stenhouse, and that's pretty much it. Well, anyways, that will do it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell down below to get notifications for all my videos. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next video. And until then, have a good one. Goodbye, everybody.